What up guys, vibe check for you today. I'm gonna be showing you how I was able to salvage this really bad paint and bring it back to life just like this. Of course, this is not perfect. You can see little dips and scratches in there, but in comparison to how it used to look, I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. Look at that difference, guys. Of course, if your paint looks anywhere near that bad, it's really savable. Again, I'm not showing you how to make good paint look great. I'm showing you how to make horrible paint look decent. I mean, look at that, guys. You could do a whole vehicle like this, but you could probably apply this to your tank on your motorcycle or something, but it's real simple. So initially this video was supposed to be about my Sportster. I was going to show you guys how I polish the tank and take out the swirls and any imperfections and finish it with a sealant and all that stuff. But as I was about to record the video, I actually realized that I had done that probably recently, and look how well it held up. This is with daily riding and taking care of it. All I do is wipe it down sometimes, but when you do the steps correctly and seal it in, it really just lasts long. And you guys could hopefully do that with your guys' paint too. You're going to be using these products that you see right here. You could pause it if you want. I'll go through each one, but this is essentially what I'm using today. This is a quick car detailer. You can use any sort of like cleaner, I guess, like a cleaning spray that's safe on paint and stuff like that, and a microfiber to wipe it out so you can get the surface all cleaned up. This one we're gonna go with a 220, which is a little rougher. If you're gonna be doing decent paint already, you probably don't need 220. You could probably start off with these right here. So you could probably start off with a 1500 and jump to a 2000 grit. These are wet sanding blocks, but yeah. With paint that you probably have, you're probably good with these. I'm starting with a 220 because the paint we're starting off with is like beyond repairable looking. Like, that is a drill, and we're gonna go ahead and use this attachment on that drill. It's fairly simple. You can get these at like a detail store. You can order them on Amazon or something. I forgot what I looked up, but you can find them. It's like a drill attachment for like a 3-inch foam pad, and here are the 3-inch foam pads. The reason why I have two is because the one on the right is yellow, and it's a stiffer one for like cutting. Like, it's a little more stiff for cutting and actually getting in there. Finish is with the blue. The blue is like a softer thing. So this is what you're gonna use, the yellow. This is just what I had too. This is just a clarity restorer compound, Meguiar's. Meguiar's has way better compounds that you could use to actually cut deep in. This is just what I had. This is a cleaner gloss. This is what you use the softer pad for, the blue one. This kind of just finishes it off afterwards, and that's usually where people walk away and their cars look shiny. But today I'm gonna be showing you this crazy item right here. This is Class. It's a high gloss sealant. It's pretty much, I'm sure you've heard of ceramic coating. They overprice these little tiny bottles. Well, this is a big bottle, and it's not overpriced because it's not marketed as a ceramic coat. It is a coat though. It applies just like how people use ceramic coats. It's really, it says it right there on the bottle. Damn, you'll see. This is how I seal in the gloss and protect it from like dust and stuff on the Evo Sportster. So let's get started on this paint. So here's the paint, how it sits. Yeah, there's dirt on it, but that's not why it's dull. As I get more detailed, you could really see it almost looks like a freaking, I don't know, almost looks like the blacktop or something, like tar. Like, it's literally just the dullest thing ever. You could hardly see a reflection. Is what it is. We got this vehicle for very cheap, but let's get started. You start off with that 220 on this because it is so cloudy. Like, that's really cloudy. I mean, the whole vehicle is inconsistent, but this is probably one of the bad spots on it. So you wipe down your surface, and there it is. There is a real way to wet sand. This is not it, but you know how we do. So yeah, you're just gonna go over it with the 220 and some water. You're probably actually supposed to soak the actual sanding sponge thingy, the block. You're actually supposed to put it in water or something, like in a bucket, and let it soak. But you know me, doing it wrong the right way. You're still gonna see the results are pretty dope, but this is a pretty severely bad paint job, and I'm starting with 220. I mean, I probably could have started deeper in. Probably could have started with a rougher sanding block or something like that, but you know, just for what I had at home, 220 does just level the surface out. Just getting it. Pour some water on there. Continue the process. Wipe it down. Get all the old stuff out. And yeah, like as you stare at it drying up, it looks like I totally effed it up even worse, which I think I did. And that's kind of how you have to do it. You're leveling the surface, I think. I mean, you know, I'm not a detailer. I don't do this for a living, so there's real videos that you're supposed to watch where people tell you the full, you know, this is how you do it, but I'm just showing you how I do it. There it is. You got to make sure you go in all directions, so you can go back, you know, back and forth, and you go up and down, swirl around, go diagonal. You just got to keep moving directions, keep adding water to clear off all the other sludge and like the, you know, paint that you're scratching off, or clear coat whatever is left. But I'm telling you right now, this step you're probably gonna skip, but because I can almost guarantee your motorcycle tank is nowhere as bad as this paint was. So this is just if you do have super bad paint. Now what I'm showing you, the 1500, this is what most of you guys are gonna start off with. If your paint just has blemishes and it's like not as glossy as it used to be, feel free to use some of this. Actually, now that I'm actually looking at this and like watching myself do it, you might not actually have to do all these steps. Like, you could probably skip all of this and just go straight to when I use the drill bit, or the drill attachments and stuff. But if your paint is this bad, then yes, do all these steps. So we started with 220, now we're at 1500. I'm sure there's like a million other steps you're supposed to do, but you know, these results are decent. But yeah, add water on there, keep going around with that 1500. I only kept the door open so like you could see like a night and day difference left and right, because off to the left and top of this spot that I'm doing, it's kind of like blurry. You can't see which I did perfect, or you know, kind of went off to the edge. So you're gonna keep going at it. So once you pour water on there, after the 1500, you really look like you effed it up. Like if you thought it looked bad when I did the 220, look how bad it looks when it dries up with the 1500. Like it literally just turns like white. But that's all part of it, y'all. And again, I gotta remind you, if your paint, you can see a reflection in your paint, you don't gotta do all this, you know, 220, 1500, 2000. This is just if your paint looks like what this vehicle's paint looked like. These are the steps you'd take. We're jumping over to the 2000 grit right now. Look at that spot. Actually, it's worse than most of the vehicle, but that's how it looks at first. So same process, repeat, scrub a dub. Pretty simple from this point forward, or it's been pretty simple so far. Scuff it around. Same thing you pretty much were doing with the 220 and the 1500. Same process. You know, keep the block wet, keep adding water and taking off all the paint that you're removing, or clear coat. And I'm sorry, I have to remind you again, if you're watching this video and you're getting excited to do this to your bike, but your bike actually has great factory paint, you're gonna fudge it up, and I don't want you to do that. Only if your paint looked as bad as this vehicle's paint looked like, then yeah, you're more than welcome to do this process. So here's what I'm talking about. Look at it dry up. A little sped up, but yeah, that is crazy. So we're gonna wipe all that off of the rag now. And this is what you're gonna be working with. So this cleaner, just to take off any other remnants of, you know, dust, dirt, and all that stuff that might have got on there. Here is where you're probably gonna start off with, using this compound. Remember, if your tank is glossy but just has swirls and little marks in it, this is where you're starting off. You're using the cutting pad. It's a little stiffer than the blue one. Yeah, there's a lot of hairs on there. I keep it in the corner of the room. We have a dog. I have hair. My girlfriend has hair. It's everywhere. So yeah, make sure yours does not have hair all over the place before you use it, because that'll really probably mess up your paint. So you're gonna use some of this compound. What I realized after looking at this footage is that I think I put too much compound, and then I over saturated the pad and the surface with this. This is what I didn't mention, is that you should use some sort of like a spray wax as like a lubricant to help the pad slide and get it going. But I think I put too much because it started flinging everywhere, and I don't always do it like that. There you go. You pat it down all over the surface. It looks unsavable right now, but you're gonna trip. So this is probably where you're gonna start, y'all. Remember, even all around, don't put as much as I did, because watch it start splatting. You'll see it. The motion that you're supposed to do is kind of overlapping each swirl. I probably wasn't doing it perfect, but yeah, look at all that freaking splat. I had to clean all that up later, but so you guys don't make the mistake I did, don't put so much compound the first run, and also don't over lubricate it with the spray wax, because look at that. Like, I know there's a detailer watching this that's like getting so mad, like, why would you show people the wrong way? Well, it's how I roll. I'm not telling people I'm a professional. I don't want people to, you know, be under the assumption that this is some sort of detailing channel. This is just some dude in his driveway just showing you how he does his paint. So this is a step that I do to the Sportster with the glossy painted tank. This is a step I do. So imagine a tank that already doesn't have so many imperfections because it has a couple swirls and blemishes. If I do this process on this paint, which at first you literally couldn't even see, yeah, you'll see it right now. It's pretty wild. So what you're seeing right now, I did a second batch. I think you're supposed to repeat it. That's what I do. But like, if it's this bad, like this is really bad, so I repeated it. Like I said, this is on a horrible painted surface. You guys saw what it looked like in the beginning. We'll go back to that later. For the results that are gonna come out of this, remember, just if it slipped right there. If you're surprised by this, just like I said, imagine when you guys get to do it on your bikes. It's a way smaller surface. It'll look insane. I know a lot of people like crusty bikes and crusty choppers. If that's what you're into, go for it. But there's other people that, you know, might not have had anything nice in their lives, like myself. And then the nicest thing I finally do have, it being a Sportster, you know, I want to take care of it. I want to make it look, you know, decent. So that's why I learned how to do this, is so I can keep the Sportster looking as nice as possible, because like I said, it's the nicest thing I've ever owned. And you know, some people don't see it like that. That's how I roll. Here's the last part right here. Oh no, second to last part, I lied. You use some sort of cleaner gloss or like a polish. So this one doesn't really cut the surface, it kind of just like smooths it. That's why you have a softer pad right here, because it's not supposed to really cut into the surface. It's just supposed to really finely gloss over it. So you'll see it's a lot of repeated process. Yeah, so this is pretty much the final step before actually sealing it in, so you are actually polishing it. The first part was cutting. Now you are just polishing this up. I could be using all the wrong terminology now that I think about it, but yeah, it looks foggy, but you actually have to let it sit there. And then boom, wipe it off with a rag, and it still has little dips in it. I mean, I didn't do a full sand and, you know, restart and all that stuff. This is horrible paint. You just have to remember how it started. Right now we are moving on to the big kahuna, the big final finish, the sealant. This stuff, a little goes a long way. So on an applicator pad that's clean, you just kind of spread it out first so it gets foggy, and then you're gonna go up and down and then back and forth. I mean, not in that specific order, but it's just like crosshatch pattern. It's just you go one way and then you go the opposite, like that. Almost like tic-tac-toe right there. Well, not literally tic-tac-toe, but like the line. Up, down, and then left, right. Repeat that if necessary. You won't really even see it, but microfiber. Shout out to HB Harley. Microfiber on there to wipe off any excess, but what you just did was you put on a super thin layer of sealant. And let's go back to how it used to look. Don't say it's just because it's dirty. That we zoom in and you see the paint is non-reflective, but it all changed right there. You guys saw it. I didn't have no crazy fancy machines or anything out of the ordinary. It was just a drill, some bits and polish, pads, and time. This video is, you know, I hope this video could actually help you out. If you do have paint, anything that still looks decent, looks pretty good, I wouldn't even sweat it. It'll come out fantastic. This is a method that I do use on this bike all the time. Like I said before, if your paint looks something like this, do not use any of those sanding blocks or anything like that. Just do the polishing part. And this is how I brought dull paint back to life. So now go apply that. Except if your paint's already decent, then don't do that to yours. Just do the polishing part, not the sanding.